We got 2 messages from Shane Muir for $5. Australian miners fought against the British in 1854 over the miner's license. The battle is commonly known as the Eureka Stockade. Have you guys ever looked at the Jesuits, and in particular the work of Eric Phelps and his Vatican assistant?
Vatican assassins.
If it weren't
Vatican assassins,
for
excuse me.
such books as that, you guys, I might not have a show right now, because I was listening. I was researching the Jesuits. Phelps had just I don't know that he had put his book out yet, but he was doing interviews for his book, so he probably put it out. Maria Heller was interviewing Phelps, and I was like, I should send her Project Constellation. She sounds like a nice lady and would listen to what the evidence was that I had that I was trying to get people to take a look at. And Phelps definitely has some
he's okay. Let's put it like this. He's like
edges,
he's like a Daniel
corners,
Esterlin. He's like
angles.
a John Coleman. He's not well substantiated.
Well, he's a Calvinist.
He's a Calvinist. Like you got to be very careful with how I'm not saying everything he says is wrong, but you can barely corroborate anything in his books. It's very circumstantial and specious, and it's very much like John Coleman, the Committee of 300, or Daniel Esterlin, who plagiarizes and commits errors all over the place.
However, on Phelps's side, because I used to correspond with him back.
There
is
problems. There are problems with
Yeah,
I mean, the Jesuits have a historical.
I was looking so much at the Jesuits that I wasn't looking maybe at some of his philosophy that was coloring. But what he did was when he printed Vatican Assassins, he gave you the 6 other books that he had used.
Yeah,
for
you
the
had
references.
them in bindums, didn't you?
I had them all printed out in bindings.
I remember.
Bound is so history of the Jesuits from the 1800s. So I took all those references and printed them out. And there's a lot there, but there's also he's what he's saying is heavily colored by his
ideological
fervent
persuasions.
Belief.
Yes.
Yeah, ideological persuasions definitely come into play there. So you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You got to separate the message from the messenger.
Exactly. Yeah.
See what is there that is actual and factual. For instance, to the credit of Phelps, there's a whole bunch of people in the story that we were just talking about, or One Nation Under Blackmail, and they're all Knights of Malta. And people want to say there's nothing with that. I'm like, why are these CIA directors in it then? Why are the CIA directors who are doing the skullduggery in it? Right. So there's angles within angles. And that's not an Angleton joke.
And how much is it then that the straw man of the Jesuits when we're looking over here, when it may be Malta, maybe
any
Knights
secret society
Hospitaller,
where you have initiation rights,
it gets messy when you go down
secret
those roads.
oaths, and probably blackmail on these people to keep them in line, right?
Exactly.
Am I right? Didn't we all see these movies, The Skulls? Do you see how they run this shit? That's just Hollywood showing you. It's probably much worse.
Yeah.
Right. In that first movie, The Skulls, with that Joshua Jackson kid
or something,
that one reporter was spying on them, and then they kill him and frame the other dude up. I'm like, that's
Ivy League. That's a bunch of Ivy League
goes on.
Yeah, right.
Caleb can't go to jail. You got to send some kid on scholarship to jail.
Yeah, right. All right.
Scent of a Woman all over again. I'm in the dark here. It's that sort of stuff going on with Pacino. All right, so wrapping it up.
Hang on. More? Shane, thanks again. He also sent us another one. Adam Weishaupt was a Jesuit and once said, "The great strength of our order lies in its concealment. Let it never appear in any place in its own name, but always concealed by another name and another occupation."
And that's exactly what Rhodes copied. He said he even is he's like, I like how the Jesuits use it, but they're using it for the Catholic Church, and we want this one for the British government.
Yeah, I think the organizational model of the Jesuits clearly is very effective. I mean, Adam Weishaupt adopted for the Illuminati.
And that comes from the Alumbrados
and Cecil Rhodes
Ignatius Loyola's torture trances.
Yeah, Ignatius
spiritual
Loyola, the 14
exercises
spiritual exercises, whatever it was, the 12 spiritual exercises. And that was after, I think he was at war. He lost his leg.
Yeah,
he got messed up, and he had all these horrific, experiences, near-death experiences, you could say, one after another, and wrote the spiritual exercises. So you can just see what type of trauma in which he developed these sort of this wayward Catholic.
It's the Society of
ideology,
or is it the Society of Jesus? I don't know.
Well, then you have the Opus Dei, and then they
ask Angleton.
They have to whip themselves because they're not worthy and shit. So you never know.
You've been watching too many Da Vinci Code movies.
Whip it
I got the Opus Dei book here. It ties back to some interesting stuff too.